Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Speak On It podcast. I'm your host, Big Mike. This is post-game live, game 2 of the NBA Finals with the Celtics and the Mavericks. Celtics get the dub in game 2, 105-98. They are up 2-0, and we are here to talk about it like only we can. Like I said, I'm your host, Big Mike. You know I can't do this alone. I've got the Mad Producer Podcast Poppy in the building.
Just bring this dork in.
And I have making his return tonight. Anthony is in the building, and we are gonna get right into it because the pre-show meeting got feisty quick, and we have got to pick. We're gonna just pick up right where we left off. Anthony, I said I was gonna go right to you to start. Jason Tatum as your name for the show. Jason Tatum went 6 for 22, 1 for 7 for 3.
But he had a nice steal though. It looked pretty good.
You only care about scoring.
Dylan, Mike is talking. Dylan, Mike is speaking. Let Mike finish.
So he finished with 18 points, 12 assists, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 turnovers. And Anthony has been saying all night that he's had a quote-unquote putrid game. So, Anthony, I will just let you two pick right up where you left off.
Well, first off, before we get into all that, congratulations on the Celtics. They played a overall good team game. The big three of Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, and Derek White did their thing tonight. So definitely got to give them all the kudos, definitely, for this win. So I just want to start off by saying that. Now let's just get right to it. Listen, did Tatum have a solid game defensively? Yeah, he did. I'm not going to sit here and deny that. But he was putrid offensively, and I find myself
wrong.
He wasn't putrid offensively.
Wrong.
So tell me how.
You only care about scoring. You only care about scoring.
But wait, Hollywood, you know I'm saying offense, right?
You know what else is offense? Do you know what else is offense?
What else is offense?
He's responsible for 24 points, not even his own. 24, not even his own. Yet he had a putrid offensive game. So between the 18 that he had and the 24, possibly more because
6 for 22.
To what? More than half of Drew Holiday's points. He contributed more than half of Drew Holiday's points. So 24 plus 18 is what?
42.
42. So Jason Tatum being completely responsible for 42 points is a bad offensive game. Sure, he shot the ball bad. But
Dylan, what happens when you're not?
Timeout. You said shout out to Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown took 4 shots in the second half after being completely passive in the first half. And the only person who was actually trying to create, who again he wasn't playing well offensively, shooting wise, was Tatum. Tatum was trying to force the ball, 4 shots, but Drew Holiday had a great game. Derek White had a great game, but Jaylen Brown took 4 shots in the second half. 4. But again, we only care about scoring here, right? You hate Jason Tatum because he doesn't.
I literally just said he had a good defensive game.
All playoffs has led the team in scoring, in rebounds, and assists. The only thing Jason Tatum has not done for you is he hasn't scored 35 a game because other superstars.
He didn't even score 20 tonight.
He doesn't need to.
Score 20.
He doesn't need to. The guy averages fucking 25, 10, and 7 in the playoffs. And that's just the playoffs. That's just the playoffs. 25, 10, and 7. Leading the team in points, leading the team in rebounds, leading the team in assists. Yet he's been underwhelming. He's just not scoring fucking 40. You put in the group chat 2 weeks ago, Jalen Brunson scored 40 points fucking 7 times in the playoffs. Tatum hasn't scored it once. Who would you rather have? Jalen Brunson needed to score 40 to win. The only game Jalen Brunson didn't need to score 40 in was game 5 in that Pacers series where he beat him by fucking a billion. Every other game was a fucking 3-point game, 6-point game, 4-point game. That's why you needed him to score 40. Jason Tatum is over here scoring 18 points a game, still winning because he doesn't need to do that.
But here's the problem. Can I continue?
If he scores 40, they win by 20 something. No, the only people who had good shooting nights today were Drew Holiday and Derek White. Other than that, everybody was bad. They went 3 for fucking like 20 something in the first half. Only made 7 3-pointers after that. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum combined for what? Let me pull up the numbers really quick. I have it right here. 2 for fucking 13 from 3. Both of them combined. 2 for 13 from 3. Both of them played good defense. One led the game in rebounding. I wonder you could take a guess at which one that is. One of them led the game in assists, not just team, game in assists. You could take a guess who that is. But again, we only care about scoring. That's it. That's all you care about is scoring. But we forget that this Celtics team is a great team. 1 through 5, 1 through 15, a great team. You're getting mad that he doesn't need to score. That's all you cared about all playoffs is, he doesn't score 30. He doesn't score 30. They lost 2 playoff games.
Apparently, when I go everywhere online, people seem to say the same thing. But yeah,
who gives a fuck what online people say? I don't care about what NBA Twitter and fake Celtics fans say. I don't care.
When it's people that Dylan doesn't agree with, it's fake Twitter. The narrative, it's fake.
NBA Twitter is a cesspool of nonsense. It's a cesspool of nonsense.
Well, before we got online, I didn't
understand this.
The problem is, Dylan, I didn't say Twitter. I said other places too. They're saying the same shit.
Listen, most Celtics fans are fake basketball fans. That's like a known fact.
You said the same thing about Nets fans too.
Nets fans don't exist. That whole James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, those were all like player stands and bandwagon people coming on. Now that that's gone, Nets fans don't exist. I said that when they were on the team. Mike is a big witness to that. There's all like 4 of us. Nets fans don't exist. They're just people who put players on the Nets as their profile picture and start talking crazy. That not real. I was there real time telling them they're not real fans. But again, all you care about is scoring, and and then I'll let you speak, and then you're just going to give me nothing but scoring numbers. That's it. Because that's all basketball is. That's all basketball is. Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant fooled half of the fucking like basketball fans that only thing that matters is scoring. Nothing else matters.
It's not.
So go ahead, tell me more about how Jason Tatum does the scoring.
You know what? Again, if it was just about scoring, I wouldn't have stated that Tatum played good defensively. So you don't care. No, that's not true. That's absolutely not true.
And then you ignore the assist numbers when you talk about offense.
But go back to the Minnesota series. I can't remember what game it was. I think it was like game 2 or something like that, where you're like, Edwards had a bad game. But then I was like, but look at Edwards' defense in the second half. He played.
My problem with that was Anthony Edwards played good defense in the second half and then threw the game away. That's the problem. That's why you can't do that. You measure only scoring and or defense.
Because you said he threw the game away, but they lost by way. It was the multi-possession. They lost by more than one possession. You act like it was just him. That whole team collectively played that.
It was a 5-point game. And he came up, dribbled, jumped past, out of bounds, had a chance to cut it to a single possession, threw it out of bounds, then fucked up on the defensive side. Luka hit a shot, and it's now a 3-possession game. That's why that's throwing the game away in the last minute and a half. And then he went and turned over the ball again. So, you can't do that. If anything, that whole case for Minnesota was me pointing out that you don't hold everybody accountable for the same thing. Where the first 3 games of that Minnesota series, plus game 7 of the Nuggets series, Anthony Edwards played like shit, and you were quiet. But the second Jason Tatum didn't score 20, you were the first person on there. And then you had the audacity to say that Anthony Edwards played a great fourth quarter in game 7. He went fucking 2 for 9 and had fucking 3 turnovers. So how is that a great game 7? You can't do that.
There were other things he did, Dylan. There were other things he did.
Like what?
And also that statement you made about me not calling out Edwards is not true. We even had this argument. We had this argument in the chat. I literally showed you the screenshots of me saying Edwards needs to step up.
Any other superstar but Jason Tatum. That's it. And Mike is my witness right here. Mike is my witness.
Here's the problem.
You are a church.
Why are we?
Nikola Jokic went 18, 10, and fucking 7 and had fucking like 12 turnovers. Nobody mentioned. Everybody was real quiet about that. That's a bad game.
Because Dylan, you're mentioning outliers when it comes to these other All NBA first team athletes. Those guys, SGA, Luka,
5 straight games. They're doing the same thing.
Dylan,
how is that an outlier?
SGA, Luka, Jokic, Giannis. Those guys have literally take over games. Those guys are the main reason why their teams are in the positions that they were. If you take them out and you put Tatum based on how
for being on a better team.
No, I'm not. Because one thing you mentioned earlier was Tatum doesn't have to score. Yada yada yada. Here's the problem with that. When you're putting up these putrid shooting numbers, he's trying to score more than 18. The problem is he can't because he's bricking everything. That's why he has to keep passing the goddamn ball. At the end of the day, he's trying to be more efficient offensively, and he can't do it.
It's out of necessity. Like you're sitting here saying he's passing because he has no other option. He's passing because
he's passing because he can't shoot. He's passing because he can't shoot.
2 years ago, would have said, "Fuck passing. I'm going to take 20 more shots," and we all know.
And he would have made some more of them.
No, he wouldn't have.
What was Jason Tatum doing 2 years ago?
When they were in the NBA Finals the first time, and he was having an awful series? Chucking. He was shot chucking. That's what he was doing.
What was the result of that? And what was the result of that final series? What was the result of that final? Exactly.
So you want?
And what's the difference now?
More.
The difference.
Shoot more.
Huh?
You want him to shoot more?
No, I want him to shoot better. I want him to shoot better and actually show me why he's All NBA first team.
Great. He's showing why he's.
We only have these conversations about one player on that All NBA first team. We only have conversations about one player. We don't have these.
You do.
We do. We don't.
Everybody
no
else
one
here understands. Everybody else here.
Everybody else.
Basketball. Mike, are we having this conversation being the only member on the first team who isn't scoring? Or are we going to sit here and talk about
actually, Luka has been scoring 30.
Jason Tatum is the only one not. That's what I said. You could listen for once. Thank you.
I've been listening the whole time. You just keep talking.
We're not mentioning that who's the only other first team All NBA player in this NBA Finals?
Luka.
Luka and Tatum. They're the only two. Only difference is Luka has to do these things. If Luka doesn't score 30, they're already losing. They're going to lose by 50.
Yeah, but the problem is you're getting
because they have a good Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser. They have guys who can score. And
here's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, but here's what I'm trying to say, Dylan. At the end of the day,
they have Jaylen Brown, who's one of the best two-way players in basketball. Jason Tatum was one of the best players in basketball offensively and defensively. Tingus Pingus, who is one of the best big men and can fucking stretch the floor. Al Horford, who is ageless and can give you fucking 6 threes a night. Like, we're holding Jason Tatum accountable because he's on a really good team. A really good team. No, man, he needs to score 30.
But the problem
20. You just want the Celtics to blow everybody out and be done.
No one is saying the Celtics should be blowing everybody out. The problem is two things can be true. Two things can be true at the same time. One, he doesn't have to put up 30. Two, he has shown that he can't. At the end of the day, he has shown that he can't. He has been struggling all postseason with his damn shot.
No,
at the end of the day,
he's been struggling shooting. But again,
you can't like.
How many games have they lost?
Okay, but we're talking about the team effort. All right, he has a stacked ass team. At the end of the day, all right, just like you said, Luka has to do these things. But here's the thing, Dylan. He can do these things. He's shown that he can. Brunson has had to put up 40-point games, but he's shown that he could do that. You take Brunson out of that equation and you put Tatum, the Knicks don't make it that far. They don't. At the end of the day, you could do the swap for any other team, for any player. I mentioned Brunson. Forget about Brunson. Let's talk about the All NBA first team players. You do the swap, and they don't get that far because Tatum has been struggling. Tatum has been struggling.
They're different styles of players. And again, you're holding Tatum accountable for having a better team.
Like, I'm not holding him accountable for having a better team. I'm holding him accountable for being the worst player on that All NBA first team. You ask anybody, they will say the same thing. They will say the same thing. We don't have these conversations about other players.
That's not what it started off as. Is he's the worst player on the All NBA first team? I would agree with you that he's the worst of the 5. I'm not going to sit here and fight you on that.
Then why? But why is he? Why is he, Dylan?
Shai is a better two-way player. Nikola Jokic is the best basketball player in the world. Luka Doncic is the second best basketball player in the world. And Giannis is arguably the third best basketball player in the world. Both sides. Like, Tatum is a top 10 player. He's not a top 5 player.
And let me.
These guys are top 5 players.
And then here's the other thing I want to add in, because I got to go back to Brunson first. I got to go back to Brunson for a second. Brunson made All NBA second team. You ask most people, they say Brunson's better than Tatum too as well.
They'd be wrong. I love Jalen Brunson.
They wouldn't be wrong.
Brunson is not better than Jason Tatum. This is all recency bias because you watch Jalen Brunson torch injured teams and score 40. Like,
torch injured teams and score.
Like, what are we doing? Like, Stop with the tinted glasses and the recency bias here. Again, you're saying Tatum struggled all postseason. He's leading in every major category for the Celtics besides field goal percentage. So he leads the team in points, leads the team in rebounds, leads the team in assists, yet he's the worst player on the team. Cool.
Yeah, a lot of those points were garbage time points too as well. Let's not talk about
they matter? Again, does it count?
I mean, we gotta throw context, Dylan. we gotta throw context, all right?
You want him to score more, but when I say, "Oh, he scored more," you're like, "But they don't count because they were already winning."
I didn't say they don't count. I'm saying a lot of those, even the games where he scored well, a lot of those scoring outputs were in garbage time.
You're qualifying.
Do you know the
30? Tatum scores 30 because they're up to 20.
Do you know the Celtics record when Tatum has a bad shooting night? I believe it's a crazy low percentage. I gotta look up the exact number. I think they're undefeated. They're undefeated. Again, Tatum has the luxury of being on a super stacked team. That's great. That's kudos to Boston management. But at the end of the day, when he's trying to actually show why he's a superstar in this league, on the offensive side, shooting-wise, which is extremely important, he hasn't shown up. That's a huge thing. I can sit here and be like, all right, Tatum had a good defensive game. He had a number of assists. Yeah, that's good.
A nice number is good.
But yours
12. That's insane.
What do you want me to say? Because Jokic does it with his eyes closed all the time.
Jokic
and on top of that,
passer. He is a prolific passer. Jason Tatum is not.
So you don't think Jokic had to be that way for the Nuggets to excel?
Jokic was already that. That's different. That's the completely difference. Like, that team is built around Jokic's strengths, which is passing.
Scoring. Jokic is also a prolific scorer too, as well.
Jokic is the worst scoring points per game wise in your All NBA first team. That's what you like. That's what we care about, right? Just the All NBA first team. He is the worst one points per game.
What's his points per game?
26.4.
And what's Tatum's?
26.9.
Oh, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing there? Come on, man.
Oh. Is he not? Is he not the worst one?
Yes, he is. By 0.5. Yes.
No. I'm not saying Jokic can't fucking drop 30 whenever the fuck he wants, but Jokic's best skill is his passing. That is what he is best at. Is he not? Is he not the best passing big man ever?
He is the best passing big man ever.
That is the strongest part of his game. That whole team is built around cutting back door, off-ball screens. You set the double on me. You're either going to come behind me or you're open. That whole team is built around that.
Absolutely. But here's the thing.
Average 18 a game, and it still wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, but here's the thing. People aren't questioning Jokic's greatness. People are constantly questioning Tatum because at the end of the day, Jokic is the best, arguably, in my opinion. Probably we also agree too. He's one of the best, if not the best passing big man we've ever seen. but he's also putting up extremely efficient offensive numbers, including shooting. Tatum is just going like this when it comes to offensive shooting. You can't do that at the end of the day. Fuck, he doesn't have to because he has this stacked team. When he tries to, he hasn't been able to do it. That's the problem. He hasn't been able to do it on more than a few occasions, more than quite a few occasions. He wouldn't be getting roasted the way he's doing because of his output.
Again, NBA Twitter's
come on, dude. Like
NBA Twitter.
I haven't mentioned NBA Twitter once this whole time.
The Seattle Supersonics, they would have ate MJ up because MJ shot dog shit in that series. So, like, that's why I don't care anything about that. MJ shot 30% from the field in the 1996 NBA Finals, and nobody says anything. Nobody says anything. He had games where he shot 40 times and scored 22 points. So, like, why do I give a fuck what NBA Twitter says? I watch these games. You watch these games. We understand that, yeah, Tatum didn't shoot well. I can acknowledge he didn't shoot well. Mike acknowledged shoot well. Everybody acknowledges shoot well. But what you take away from the games shouldn't be just that. It shouldn't be just like that. Because he was responsible for Jrue Holiday getting hot. He was responsible for a lot of these guys making their shots because he was making the extra pass. He drove in and dropped a fucking dime to Jrue Holiday on right before halftime when he got closed out on as he picked up his dribble and just hit him. Like,
no, but here's the thing here's the only thing. But he's doing. I know, and I will. But here's the thing that
he doesn't need to shot chuck. And yeah, he shot 20 shots a game today. He's the guy you want to shoot 20. Regardless.
But here's the thing that concerns me, Dylan. Again, the Celtics have had just the golden ticket when it comes to just every team just breaking down injury-wise. Outside of Porzingis, the Celtics have been pretty blessed in terms of health. My concern is, wait, hold on, damn, jeez. My concern is one or maybe even two of these players goes down, or they're not 100%, and then Tatum needs to step up more. Tatum needs to give you that 30, 35-point game. He hasn't shown he's been really able to do that, Dylan. And that's concerning in this postseason. That's concerning.
So we're going to be mad at Jason Tatum over a hypothetical.
No, I'm not.
No. That's what you said. Because if these guys go down, he hasn't showed he's needed to. That's that. He hasn't needed to. He hasn't needed to.
I'm only bringing up. That's what I'm saying, and I'm only bringing. Dylan.
Yeah, I am.
I'm only bringing up this hypothetical because, again, when you look at, unfortunately, this postseason has been absolutely destroyed by star players just going down. Unfortunately, that's why I bring up this hypothetical. At the end of the day, of course, it's not their fault that they've remained relatively healthy outside of Porzingis. But I'm just saying, when I look at these other teams and I look at the star players who have stepped up when their teams have needed to, when the teams have needed them to, in all facets this postseason, and then I look at Tatum, I'm like, can he do the same if he needs to? And he hasn't shown he has been able to.
So, again, this goes back to my point of you're just mad he's on a better team.
I'm not mad. I said
he hasn't needed to show it, but why hasn't he needed to show it?
But you're acting like he hasn't tried to do it and has come up short.
Show it.
When you're going, listen, Dylan, he had 18 points tonight.
Questions?
Oh God, now we're
asking questions. I asked
you. Keep asking this. You're asking the same thing over and over again, just using different terminology. At the end of the day,
answer the question.
If Jason Tatum was even somewhat efficient offensively tonight, he scores 30.
Answer the question.
What's the question? What's the redundant question?
Why hasn't he needed to do it?
You're asking me the same shit you've been asking me this whole time. Like, I have answered it 4 times. You're just deaf. I literally said that, yes, he hasn't had to do it because he's had a stacked roster.
So, now
we both agreed on that.
I appreciate
But that's not a new point. We both agreed on it like 4 times.
So, would you be expecting the same thing out of Luka if Luka didn't have to do it, if his roster was stacked?
Again, we keep doing this thing about have to and can to. Like, how many times gotta go over this?
Answer the question.
Oh God. He's doing that.
Hypotheticals.
He's doing that play dumb thing again. Like, oh,
just answer the question.
What's the question again?
So here, before I answer again, why are we having a conversation if you don't know how to listen?
I do know how to listen. You're just asking the same. You're asking me questions. You're asking questions I answered a bunch of times.
No, you didn't, because I didn't ask this question. I asked you if you listened. Would you expect this out of Luka if Luka was in the same situation with a completely stacked team?
You want to know the answer to that? No, I'm not. I wouldn't be. But
Goodbye.
No, it's not. There is no goodbye, Dylan, because again, no, it's not. It's not. Because no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. Because again, you're not listening either. You haven't shown that you're listening either. You're literally not listening. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because when I literally explained about can to and have to, you literally just act dumb and act like you didn't hear what I was saying. Luka wouldn't have to, but the thing is, he's shown that he can drop 40, he can drop 30 on a given night.
Situation where Luka,
Dylan, he's been dropping 30, he's been dropping damn near 30 a night on a busted right knee. He's been dropping damn near 30-point triple doubles on a fucked up knee.
It's not my fault.
We all know
We're gonna mute the mics. We are yelling over each other, one at a time. Go ahead.
My question to you was, if Luka was on a same situation where he was on a stacked team, would you expect this out of him? You're still using current stats, current what he's doing in that. He is now in a completely new situation where he doesn't need to do what he's currently doing. When we do these hypotheticals, we don't use the current situations, right? When you ask me a hypothetical about injuries, I now have to create a new situation, correct?
Dylan, just because you don't expect a player to do...
Just answer the question. Thank you.
He's acting like a fee. He's acting emotional now.
I just need you to answer my question. Why is that so
I don't want to answer the question. I'm good. I don't need it because you're doing that emotional thing where you're just not listening.
I just want you to answer my question. I don't need to listen.
Why are you being so emotional?
I don't need to
Dylan, why are you being so emotional?
I don't need to listen.
You've been talking the whole time.
I was not. So why do I need to listen to somebody who's muted? See, this is what happens when you let fucking stupid people try to make decisions and try to.
He's getting so emotional.
This is like all I do is ask a question, and then I'm supposed to listen to you not answer my question. That's not how that works. That's not how that works.
Oh God!
Right?
Getting so emotional.
So I don't need to listen to you. So if you're not going to answer my question, this conversation's over.
I guess it was over then. I guess it's over.
You refuse to answer questions because it goes against your point.
I guess it's over.
That's it.
I'm not going to respond to that, but yeah.
I know you're not.
I guess it's over then.
I know you're not. You're not capable.
Listen, at the end of the day, all I know is that there are way more people who agree with me than whatever the hell you're saying. I'll just put it like that.
Anthony, I'm glad. I love that for you.
But they're all fake, though. They're fake fans. They're fake fans. But that doesn't matter because they're all fake fans.
About basketball, but again, when
they're all fake fans. They don't know anything about basketball. But yeah, listen, I know they're all fake fans. They don't know nothing about basketball. So obviously, that gets canceled. They all get canceled out. You know? But if 30 people said the same thing I said, they're all fake and they don't know about basketball either.
You're not talking to real people. You're talking to people.
I'm not talking to real people.
What real people have you talked to? What real people have you talked to?
No. So they're just bots. They're just bots, guys. They're just bots. I talk to bots. You're right. You just exposed me. I talk to bots.
Hey, man.
Good Lord, man.
Thanks one to no one.
Look, at the end of the day, he's just been underwhelming to me. You disagree. That's fine. We have our stances. That's it, man.
Nah, man. What's different is we have our stances, and I ask questions to try to communicate more and have like an intellectual conversation. And when one person doesn't want to reciprocate, ask the question, that's a problem.
He's getting emotional again. Guys.
Again, let's not sit here and act like I don't do this with everybody. Where it's like if I ask you a question, I expect you to answer. Just like if you ask me a question, I expect to answer it. It's common courtesy.
Well, that was a fun 30 minutes.
But I guess common courtesy doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. He's still getting emotional.
Listen,
we said the conversation's done, Dylan. We said the conversation's done, Dylan.
I'll react.
I think he's underwhelming. You disagree. That's it.
When you ask a question, I'll react the same way. And don't throw
well,
a fit.
You do that anyway. So there was no need for me to throw fits. You were doing that anyway. So I mean, what's the point?
But go ahead. Ask
like I wouldn't throw a fit, but no, because you would do that anyway.
I got you.
You were doing that anyway, Dylan. Dylan, you were doing that anyway.
Listen, that's the difference. When I'm talking, I don't need to listen to you. That's different.
You were literally over talking me the whole time.
But I
didn't get mad about it. I just sat there and listened.
I'm not mad at you trying to overtalk me. I'm mad that when we're quiet, we've gotten to a point where we can talk, like civilized, quiet, and I ask you a question, you have the air to answer the question, and you don't answer the question. That's where the problem is. That's where the problem.
People just don't answer. People just purposely don't answer questions.
You literally don't answer. Roz does the same thing where Roz will not answer.
Isn't it funny how people just decide not to answer Dylan's questions? Like we don't know what he's trying to do. Yeah.
You could just answer the question. I don't give a fuck if you know or not. You can answer the question. It's common courtesy. If you ask me a question,
no. The problem is you do this. You get mad when we don't answer your question, but you have displayed not answering our questions either. That's the
question did you ask? What question did you ask?
You dodged questions.
What question did you ask me,
Dylan? I literally.
Thank you. No, look at me. I asked a question just now and you didn't answer me.
You've been cutting me off this whole time.
You said Dylan.
You cut me off the whole time.
You can answer. You're just not.
Oh God.
It's not my fault.
Oh God.
All right. Well. Okay. I mean, I just wanted to know if we think the series is coming back to Boston. That's all I wanted to know.
I would say yes. I think Dallas played a much better game overall. They still need to clean some things up. Yes, the Celtics had a bad shooting night and still won, so that's a testament to them. But Dallas also had a very bad shooting night again, and Irving needs to step up. You know, he played a little bit better in the fourth, just a little bit, but still he needs to step up. You know, they're doing a great job on him defensively. But he has to find his shot. You know, he had some good looks that were misses too as well. So he can't just leave Luka out there hanging. And not even just Irvin. I'm not going to put the whole thing on Irvin. PJ Washington needs to step up too. Like they need 18 to 20 from him at least, man. You can't just do that. Like the whole team collectively, they have to shoot it.
They got 17 from PJ Washington tonight. He was 6 of 13, 17 points, 7 rebounds, and a block and an assist. But he went 1 for 5 from 3. So that's got to be.
Yeah. Another thing is concerning. They missed like 10 free throws. Like it was like at least 9 or 10 free throws. They have to make those damn free throws, man. Like,
well, Luka missed 4. Gafford missed 3. So that's Luka has to clean up the free throws. If we can critique anything about what he's done, he's got to clean up the free throws. He had 32, 11, and 11, and he had 4 steals tonight. So, I mean, it wasn't lack of effort, Dylan. It wasn't lack of effort. He played.
And even then, like, yeah.
It's the elephant in the room. Kyrie, 16 tonight. He had 6 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 turnovers, no steals, and he went 7 of 18.
He started the game 4-5. He started the game 4 for 5, and then just disappeared after that. Just absolutely just fell off the face of the earth, man.
You
can't do that, man. It's crazy, man. You can't, man. But here's the thing, even with all that, they still could have won that game. I mean, again, that Derek White block was a little controversial, you know, because I feel like if they called that foul, which they really should have, we don't know how that game could have unfolded, how today's game could have unfolded. So I think, yes, even though the Celtics shot bad, the Mavericks also shot bad, and there are things that the Mavericks can do to get on track that haven't been working for them. And I don't know what's going on with Porzingis, but if he's not 100%, that opens the doors. Yeah, the series does change. I think, I'll say, yeah, Mavericks are taking both game 3 and 4 back in Dallas. This game is going back to Boston tied 2-2.
Wow. I like that confidence. Again, standing on business.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
I agree. Me and Dylan were talking about it before you got in here. I wholeheartedly think that PJ Washington got fouled on that dunk attempt. I think that while obviously that wasn't the game that wasn't the play that won or lost the game, it severely impacted the game. Because now it's a 3-point lead with just under a minute to go. That's a whole different animal.
Yep.
It's a whole different animal than a 5-point lead with 50 seconds to go. So while me and Dylan were talking about it, and they were letting them play most of the game, as I was telling him, a foul is a foul. Like, you can let them play, but like if it's a foul, you have to call it. Like, you can't just let Jaylen Brown push him in the back while he's going up in the air. Like, you just can't, like, and clearly push him in the back. But shout out to Derek White, because there was great effort by him to get that block, to catch that.
And Brown too. That was a great effort by both of them. Like,
yeah, because he definitely could have just let it go like the Pacers would have. But but the hustle was there. They got rewarded for their hustle because the foul wasn't called. So there you go. They got rewarded for their hustle because the ref decided to swallow his whistle. I think Dallas is going to win Game 3. I don't know about Game 4, but they have to win game, because if they go down 3-0, it may not come back to Boston. It may not come back. So
I'm going to say the same thing I've been saying with the Pacers series to now. If we're going to sit here and bitch and moan about the refs not making a call, that's loser shit. And you need to go ahead and take into account everything that you could have done to prevent this before we start doing one call. Because we had all game, like you said, Mike, a foul is a foul. All the Daniel Gafford plays that were fouls that didn't get called. All the Jason Tatum fouls that didn't get called. All the Jaylen Brown fouls that didn't get called. If anything, it was being consistent. But you can't sit here and bitch and moan about refs, because there's other things that you could fix to prevent that.
My only problem with that is that, like I said, that's really significantly impacted the way that game ended. Like that.
So did that moving screen in Game 1, New York Knicks, Indiana Pacers, when that wasn't a moving screen. But here we are,
and it impacted the game.
Here we are.
And Indiana had every right to complain and be mad about that.
Nope. No, they don't. They don't, because that's not the single piece of the game. That's not why you lost. That's why you lost that possession.
But it's
there's other reasons.
Significant change in the game. It's not the
but
reason, but it's a significant reason.
There's other things you need to do to make sure if that play happens, you still win. Right? And in the Mavericks case, it's them going 6 for 26 from 3. It's 16 for 24 from the free throw line when you got your opportunities. Mavericks, all playoffs, have gotten the same amount of free throws as the Boston Celtics. And they are the worst free throw shooting team that played in the playoffs. So those are the things you need to clean up so that doesn't happen. So it's a foul here or there. I guess the context of the foul and when it happened matters, but you make your free throws to get to this point. That doesn't hurt as much.
It's I don't know. It's just the significance of that non-call.
Is that non-call significant if they make those free throws
throughout the totality of the game?
Mm-hmm.
No, because we don't even know if that play happens.
No, in this situation, the same exact situation happens, but they made their free throws, and that foul does get called. Is that still a major deal?
They'd be winning.
If they made what is it?
They missed 8 free throws. They'd be winning.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Like that, that play, like, I don't know how that play happens because Boston is aggressive now. Boston is trying to score because they'd be losing.
But
so,
again,
like,
it's the matter of you clean up the things you need to clean up, and that play isn't a big deal. Make your free throws. Make your free throws, kids.
It feels like you're moving the goalposts.
I'm not moving the goalposts. It's the same thing I've said all playoffs.
I'm just saying that play, like them
if you do
missing their
everything
free
you're
throws
supposed
all
to do,
game, has nothing to do with that play not getting called.
The significance of the play. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the play. I'm talking about the significance of the play because of when it happened. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here. I think complaining about refs is silly when it comes in, especially when in the grand scheme of things, you lost because Kyrie didn't show up. You lost because you didn't make your free throws.
But I'm not saying that they lost because of that play.
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying the significance of that play is a little bit less if they do what they're supposed to do.
Because I don't want to diminish the things that you're saying, but I also don't want to diminish the fact that that is a bad missed call because that significantly changed the game. Like that.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Not call that. That's a bad job by the ref. That is a bad job that completely changed the.
But that's exactly what you want the refs to do, though. You don't want the refs to make the end of the game.
It feels like they decided because the game was when that no call happened. That game was over. That was the end of
yes.
The game was over. I knew the moment that no calls happened and Boston just came up court. Yeah, this game is over.
Yes, but at the same time, we want the refs to let them play.
But we also want the refs to make calls. To make I don't want them to not call anything.
So that's where we get into the mix of the no calls that happened earlier in the game. Do you want those fouls to get called and they call too many fouls?
Again,
because that's where the tone was set.
Yeah, that Pritchard 3 from half court is
nasty, and I knew that shit was going in. He's done that too many times all playoff from that same exact spot for that not to be like I expect that to go in shot. Out of all his shots that he practiced at practice, that's one. That's one of them.
I was so mad when he made that shot because the Mavs made a little run. So I was like, all right, let me go get some food real quick. And all of a sudden, I just hear this loud noise from my laptop. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened, man? Like, yeah, I just hear a bang. Like, I was like, did this motherfucker make a half court shot? I'm like, come on, man. But that's why you got to give it up to Boston. They bend, but they don't break. Like, whenever they feel that pressure, they put things back into gear. You got to give them credit for staying consistent. Like,
well, tonight was the game that me and Dylan were talking about. That Dylan hates when Boston does this. Is they were playing down to the level that Dallas is playing, and then they kind of looked around midway through the third and was like,
"Oh shit!
Hey, wait a minute! You guys are still here." You're trying to win this game.
That's the testament I've had to this Boston team all playoffs, right? Is, they haven't really been tested. There was no team in the East that really could have tested them because they played down to their competition. They're going to make most of the games interesting. But then there's like flip, oh yeah, we have like a really fucking good team top to bottom. Like it doesn't matter. And then you have a situation like today where in the second half, Luka didn't really do anything. After having that nasty first half where he just didn't miss.
I mean, he still had like 12 points in the second half.
But when you come in, you have the fucking 20, 24 that he had in the first half. And then that third quarter happens where he doesn't really he makes maybe 2 buckets.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
He was the reason they were in the game. Like not even like winning the game, they were down at halftime. They were in the game because Luka was cooking.
And I thought they outplayed Boston in the first half, and they were still. That's why it never felt good because it felt like they were outplaying Boston.
At no point did I think Boston was in trouble.
No,
That's
because
crazy.
they couldn't get it.
No,
Couldn't separate from them.
Because the second they took Luka off the court in the second quarter, I was like, it's over.
Yeah.
Whatever run they had is done.
Because Kyrie is.
But that's also why I'm not. But that's also why I'm not that concerned like I would be, because at the end of the day, yeah, Boston had a horrible shooting night and they still basically were comfortable the whole game for most of the game, pretty much. Dallas also had a horrible shooting night. This is not the Dallas Mavericks team that we normally see in the postseason. They're better than this, much better than this.
Are they?
Yeah.
Because
much better. But
yeah, because they haven't played a team as good as the Celtics. So, like, we don't really know how good they act. Like, we know how good they are compared to the teams that they played, but they haven't played as good of a five defensively as the Celtics team. Like, say what you want about that Minnesota Timberwolves team. They were the best defensive team in the league. Were they actually? No, they actually weren't. They actually weren't, because the guard Luka and Kyrie killed them top to bottom. PJ Washington had good games. Everybody played good against the 4-time defensive player of the year, Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, yada yada yada. Best defensive team in basketball. Yeah, sure. You fucking
best defense Stephen Smith's ever seen in his life. Yes.
Yeah.
But to be fair,
that's why I don't believe everything on the internet.
To be fair, could it be, to your point, that Boston is just the best team? Like, forget they haven't played a team that's good. Maybe because no one is as good.
We don't know how good Boston actually is because they make every game too close.
I know how good they are. They're better than the 08 Celtics.
Whatever.
Two games away from that being
in the
true.
grand scheme of 2024 season, not the fucking 2008 team. We don't really know how good this Celtics team is because they play down to their competition. We don't really know. And then we have the spurts where it's like, oh, they could beat every team by 20. But we don't see that nearly enough because they just chill out for half the game.
Shout out to ESPN with this stat. Teams are 5-31 all time when being down 0-2 in the finals. Yeah, not good.
That's not good at all.
Two things. I don't know if y'all saw Jason Kidd's hat for the post game.
Nah.
Fire hat. I absolutely need that hat. It's a white hat with a blue Bugs Bunny spinning a basketball, but the basketball is the Mavericks logo. Fire hat.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope right there.
Can we talk about how Jason Kidd is trying to play mental warfare with this soft ass mental Celtics team by calling Jaylen Brown the best player?
I thought that was a great move.
I was like, that's a great pull because
the media is gonna go run. Jason, what do you think what Jason Kidd said? He said you're not the best.
2 years ago, Jason Tatum would have heard that and would have shot 30 more shots. All sidestep 3-pointers. He would have shot all of those. So they're growing a little bit. They're growing just a little bit.
I think it was good for a holiday to kind of shout him out after the game and whatnot.
I thought that was strategic, Anthony. I think Drew Holiday.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, that was strategic as hell. Yeah,
exactly what he was doing when he said.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And that's why he's a champion. That's why Giroux is a champion. But also, what I wanted to point out, which you could tell me if you like this, just saw footage from Kyrie's post game for tonight's game 2, and he still has that same smile on his face and his, oh well, it will be better. It's cool. It's all right. No big deal. My life is good. I have family and people that love me, and I'm looking at it, and I just don't like.
I've read that book before.
I've read that book before. I don't like the energy. I don't like the Anthony. I'm telling you, I said this after game 1 because after game 1 we was like, Kyrie's not going to have 12 points again. This he didn't. Fine. I know he had 16, even though he had 12 in the fourth quarter, and he got two little baskets.
You sound like a hater right now.
It was because it was 2 garbage time baskets. It was 2 baskets that didn't. It didn't mean anything. It didn't mean anything. He absolutely should have had 12 again. But my point is, if he don't figure out a way to get to 22 to 27, they might get swept because he can't do this by himself.
No, I'm not going to predict anything. I'm just going to tell y'all a spoiler. Boston's winning one in Dallas. Like, that's it. No. That's it. Boston's winning one in Dallas. Kyrie,
they're not winning either one.
Excellent as Kyrie is of a player, when Kyrie gets in his feelings, Kyrie is in his feelings. And I saw him have a great game 1 in Boston with us. Game 2 was And we're like, you know what? He's going to play way better in Brooklyn. And he was just as fucking bad in Brooklyn than he was in Boston. He was worse. So
that game 4, that closeout game, he was
dreadful.
Trash.
He was terrible. So if you could get Kyrie in his feelings, because this is the first time all playoffs Kyrie really been in his feelings.
Carrying the basketball everywhere.
And it's the worst time to be in your feelings. Last time Kyrie was in the finals, he also didn't play well.
That's true too. And then got in his feelings and said, I don't want to play here no more.
And then got traded to Boston.
And this cycle began because I don't want to play here anymore. And LeBron was like, what? What?
Why you say fuck me for?
Good job. We will play.
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
So if Kyrie continues to stay in his feelings the way that he is right now, they're not. It's Boston in 5, if that's the case. Because the second, if this goes back to Boston, it's over. It's over. Because you're clearly not going to get all of your starting 5 to play if you're Dallas. But
you mean if it goes back to Boston, what, 3-1 or?
Mm-hmm. Well, I said this to Dylan before you came in here. I would not want to play that game 5 in Boston. That's a tough spot to be in.
You think Kyrie's having a bad time now? And they put his quote up before the game where he said, I thought it would be louder.
I saw that. I was like, yeah, Boston's locked in for this series. Boston is.
And the crazy thing is, they could be more locked in.
But Dallas also could be more locked in, too.
As we were watching the game, my girlfriend was sitting here like, I kind of agree with Kyrie. I thought it'd be louder in there. It doesn't seem like it's like
Kyrie's not lying like that, though. It ain't that loud.
It doesn't seem
it's
like
really
it's
not
bad. Like,
yeah, but you don't say that.
Joel Embiid was definitely getting booed more than Kyrie is right now.
You don't say that.
You don't say it out loud. No, you don't.
Yeah, you keep it internal. You don't say it because then you're already a pariah. Like, you're going to be the ire there. But, like, Dallas could be playing better. Boston could also be playing better. Boston's better is absolutely better than Dallas is better.
This is true. And this is also giving me, Dylan, what have I been saying the entire playoffs? This feels like Dallas has to play perfect in order to win.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I've told you that team is lost because it's just too
hard.
Like,
all the time.
You can't be Dallas has to. It just looks like Dallas has to be perfect, and Boston does not.
You're not gonna win an ugly game against the Celtics team because at the end of the day, their ugly is still is more pretty than yours. Their ugly is way better looking than yours.
Yeah, but I slightly disagree with that notion because again, they lost by 7, right?
Tonight? Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, you lost by 7. You missed but you missed 10 free throws. Like, I look at the free throw disparity and then I look at the shot percentage. I'm like, okay, let's say you clean up half those free throws. Let's say you make 2 or 3 more shots. I mean, again, we're talking about a different game. Forget the whole referee situation and whatnot. I'm not going to talk about that. But I'm just looking at those things that Dallas is in control of. And this is a different game. It's not like they got blown out again. They played a much better game too. Like I see a pathway for Dallas winning game 3 and 4. As far as Kyrie Irving goes with, the way he acts and how he does things, I'm gonna, just to be on the optimistic side, I'm gonna hop on the Kyrie is a change man bandwagon and say that he is going to use this as fuel to go into game 3, go back home, and he is going to go on a tear. That's just my stance. I'm going to take the optimistic angle. If it bites me in the ass, it bites me in the ass. But because my thing is personally, because here's the thing, they have to win, because if they don't win game 3, they're going to get swept. That's just my opinion. Because Boston's going to be like, fuck that. This is not going. If they lose game 3, it's not going back to Boston. Boston is going to take care of business in game 4. They're going to sweep the fuck out these guys.
Unless Luka goes crazy.
But they're still going to
lose. Also assuming Boston doesn't clean up their errors.
Yeah.
At the same time. So if Dallas cleans up their errors, but then Boston also does theirs, then we're pretty much in the same situation again. Where it's just like, how do you win? How do you win? You're in a lose-lose situation unless you could just get the night where everybody's ligament in their elbow blows up and they just can't hit anything. That's it. And nobody can shoot. Nobody's shooting. It's just Luka doing his thing. Like the Mavs absolutely have the best player in the series. It's just, this is an uphill battle. This is fighting.
Boston has a better team.
This is a lot of like 06. This is LeBron James carrying that Cavs team versus that really fucking good San Antonio Spurs team.
That machine that was the Spurs.
The only difference is that Spurs team didn't make mistakes ever. Ever.
Yeah.
But like, this is very much so. Kyrie's performing just about as good as fucking anybody on that fucking team was.
Mo Williams
wasn't even on that team. So it's like,
he was?
No, Mo Williams didn't get there till
they brought him after
0809.
0809.
Oh,
so
shit.
I don't even fucking know who was it Gauskas?
Who was the point guard on that team?
It might have been Eric Snow.
Eric Snow?
Larry Hughes might have been on that team.
Larry Hughes was the second leading scorer. Yep, he averaged literally like 14.8.
Oh my
God. This is very much so of that
Which
same
is
ilk.
why you should give LeBron more credit, Anthony. Oh, you got
listen. I have been recently. I have been giving LeBron more credit recently.
Absolutely been giving LeBron more credit because it's.
I have been.
He's finding out what Skip Bayless is finding out, where it's like it's very hard to hate on a guy who's 40 still doing what he was doing when he was 20.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, I know I was very much hating LeBron for a long time, but then it's just like you get to a point where it's like, okay, the dude's almost 40, and he's still in the conversation for best basketball player in the league. You can't. There's no feasible way to hate on that. It's just impossible. Even if you're the biggest troll, the biggest hater on the planet, it's just impossible to look at somebody doing that and hate on that. And then I was watching some old clips of just like those Cleveland teams, the 07 to 08 one. I was like, Jesus Christ. They went 66 and 16 with these guys?
They were so bad.
Terrible.
Like 60 win seasons with these guys.
Antoine James is out there in a walker running up and down the fucking floor. But they're like, yeah, that'll keep LeBron here. The fuck is wrong with you?
The year after LeBron left, they went like 20 and 62.
They got the first pick in the draft.
They got Kyrie Irving because they were god awful. No, yeah, they got Kyrie.
Anthony Bennett.
Anthony Bennett, yeah.
Because they were so bad that year, they got this first pick again. Or the second pick, whatever the fuck they had.
No, first pick.
That was first pick.
Oh my god,
twice.
They were bad. But no, this Dallas Mavericks team is giving me that same energy. But like, you obviously different era of NBA. We score so much more now and so many more possessions. Like you're getting more guys to give you like that 15 plus. But
and they have a Hall of Famer on their team that should be doing it.
But it's Luka is carrying this team to the best of his abilities on a leg. On one leg, really.
It very much gives me LeBron vibes. Like I'm watching this, and I'm watching, and I'm like, I've seen this before.
Yeah,
I
know.
Seen
the story.
I know exactly how this is going to go. Luka is going to play out of.
It's about the same time frame too.
Yeah.
It's literally about because year 5, year 6, Luka's in year 6. This was kind of how it went for Brown too.
I'm going to tell you how this is going to play out. Luka is going to play out of his mind in Game 3, and they're going to win. And Dallas is going to win, and it's going to be like, okay, if Luka can just get 45 and 12 and 9, he's got a chance, and he did it once again.
We need Luka to play every single second game
He's
while
gonna play
also
45
50, 40, 90.
He's gonna play 45 minutes, and Dallas is gonna win by like 5. And we're gonna go into Game 4, and we're gonna be like, well, if they get it to 2-2, we could have a series.
And then we have to give Luka the Finals MVP.
And then what's going to happen is Luka's going to have his first bad game of the Finals, and it's going to be the game that Kyrie goes off, and they're going to lose. And then we're going to be like, dang, well, Kyrie's back. And then you know what's going to happen? Game 5 is going to happen, and they're going to run them off the floor, and we're going to be like, damn. Luka's going to have like 38, 12, and 9 again, and we're going to be like, Kyrie had 12 points again.
Or we could like flip the script and we could do what they used to do to LeBron James and just be like, LeBron should have had 50.
She's just not doing it.
Luka should have had 50. He's not doing enough. Because we know Luka's not going to get anything. Like if Luka plays bad in any of these games, he's not going to get shit. It's just like this Celtics team is too good.
Mark this tape
Celtics
down.
team is too good.
Mark this tape down because I'm going to come. We're going to be back here, and I'm going to tell you exactly what. Watch, Luka's going to have a LeBron-esque 2016-ish type crazy game next game, and Dallas is going to barely win. Dallas is going to barely win on Wednesday again with these 3 days in between. It's just
this is miserable. Miserable. I feel like this is the first time they've done this.
It feels like it's just.
I thought it was like every other. It used to be every 2 days.
Every other night, the last 2 weeks.
I don't think that's the whole. I don't think it's like that for every game though.
The Knicks would have killed for this schedule. You know what the Knicks could have did with this schedule? The Knicks might still be playing right now.
They could have. Jalen Brunson's hand would have been healed by this time.
Like, what is going on? They were making the Knicks play every 15 hours.
After Game 3, though, Game 4 is only 2 days, so it'll be Friday.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's it.
But then we got to wait till like Wednesday if it goes to Game 6.
Well, no. So Game 4 is Friday. That's two days, Wednesday to Friday. But then Game 5, yeah, that's Monday, so that's 3 days again. If there's a Game 6, that's another 3 days. That's Thursday. Yeah. So yeah, never mind. Yeah. So only Game 3 to Game 4 is 2 days, but everything else is 3.
Nasty work.
We're gonna be still watching NBA playoffs in July.
Nasty.
No, but I don't mind it. I want it to be well rested.
If this goes 7, the damn Olympics is going to start 2 weeks later.
Oh, yeah. Is it Drew Holiday on the Olympic roster?
Yes,
and Tatum.
And Tatum and Luka, I believe, is playing.
Luka's playing for Slovenia.
So
listen. Well, this wouldn't be the first time Drew Holiday's done this, where Drew Holiday wins the title, then immediately goes to play for the Olympics. So he's built for
when
it.
He won with Milwaukee. Yeah,
he's built for it. Can't believe it's been 4 years.
Clock is starting.
Actually, no, 3 years because COVID stopped that. Oh yeah. Shit!
But clock is starting to tick on Giannis. Like, hey, bruh, might need to get you another one.
Might. Giannis's last 2 playoff appearances have been
well, he didn't play.
He didn't play this time, but his team, and he couldn't get in there. He got hurt beforehand. But last year was like, well, since he's won, he hasn't done shit. So it's like
much to your delight. Much to your delight.
No, yeah. Fuck that team. Like, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. His ring is fraudulent.
It's not fraudulent.
His ring is not fraudulent.
Y'all get to claim injury for the Knicks. I get to claim injury for that series. So fuck y'all.
No, y'all injury situation was not like ours.
What are you talking about?
Don't get him started, Anthony. Please.
Well, I'm gonna say, what are we doing?
Dylan,
Like,
come on now. What are we doing?
40. Like, what are we doing?
What?
We beat those motherfuckers in Brooklyn by 40. 40 with just Kyrie and Kevin Durant. Not even James Harden. Come on. 40.
We have seen this before, Dylan, where teams win by a lot and then still lose.
We beat them by a lot multiple times. Multiple times. Fucking never forgive Giannis.
It's not on purpose.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. But no, it's a fuck Giannis. But no, Luke. That's why when we talked the other day, we were like, "Oh, can we really have that conversation about Luka being like the best player in the world?" You could have the conversation. Is it going to change it from being Jokic? No, but when you watch what he's doing and watch what he's going to do in the next couple games, it's like, if there wasn't this one fucking Serbian guy who likes horses, this guy would be the one. This guy would be the one. He'd be the chosen one.
He's dropping 30-point triple doubles on a busted knee.
Like, this guy would be the one.
It's fucking ridiculous.
But Jokic treats the NBA like a fucking 9 to 5. Jokic hates going to work every day. Yeah, that
hasn't been seen since Denver got eliminated.
No, there was a video of whitewater rafting.
I was saying, completely off grid.
That man hates it, but like, that man's the best player in the world, and we're watching Luka do unbelievable things, and it's just like, I want to say you are, but like, you're not.
All right, Anthony. Before we wrap this up, I will give you the floor to cry and complain about Caitlin Clark not being on Team USA.
Well, look, at the end of the day, I know you're gonna hate. You're not gonna like what I'm gonna say, but at the end of the day, look, should she have been on the team? I personally felt for exposure reasons, yes. But you asked me a question in the chat, Mike. You're like, who do you take off from a talent perspective? I know I said some names, but realistically, when I like put logic back into the situation, it's like you can't. You got to put the most talented people out there if we're talking from a talent perspective. So it's like, I'm not happy about it for obvious reasons, but I really can't complain about it if you look at it from a talent perspective.
I presented a good point about this last night, which everybody like seemed to ignore, and then again today in the chat. She didn't attend the Team USA like practices. She wasn't there in November or April, so she wasn't eligibly picked.
So what? But that confused me because like, why would her coach come out? I don't know if y'all saw this, but I think it was like earlier today. Her coach was like, Caitlin said like they created a monster or some shit like that. Like, doesn't sound like she was too pleased.
You want to know the real answer?
Yeah.
She's crying. She's giving you tears of a fake. She's being a Karen. I'm just gonna. She's being a Karen.
I was like, I feel like you're trying to say something.
That's not me it up or anything. It's documented. Like, they did articles where it's like she did not because she didn't want to. She had other obligations to take care of. So, like, I'm not going to sit here and blame her for it because I think, in November, she was in the middle of her season. And in April, she was preparing for the draft. So she did not participate in the Team USA camps. So you can't gel with the roster. You can't learn the playbooks. You can't work with Gino. You can't do all these things. If you're not going to work and do all that stuff, how can Gino pick you? That's the long and short of it on that side. So once that explanation was given, I was like, she never deserved to be on the team then. Mm-hmm. Never once. If you can't be at the practices to do that, you don't belong on the team. And I think everybody, if they saw that she wasn't able to be selected because she wasn't there, everybody would collectively be like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Like, you need to go. You can't just, I can't say I'm eligible for the NBA draft and then get mad when I don't get drafted. Like, I can't do that. So once that cleans itself up, it'll be fine. Caitlin Clarkson's not ready there yet. Just not yet. She will be. She will be, and she's going to be running gold medals back to USA every fucking 4 years. Let her get accustomed to this game. It would not be fair to her to just throw her into the Olympics after having a hard time in the WNBA, where FIBA rules are more physical. They're going to be trying to hurt her too. So it's like, don't subject her to that. Let her get her lumps here. Let her build herself up. Let her do her thing. Let her grow. We don't need to force her down the throats. Let her be part of the W. Let her ingratiate herself with her peers first and become a star. Let her become a star as opposed to just making her a star now. And then next Olympics, she could be the headliner where she's the first person told to be on the roster.
And she can go hit 30-foot step backs against girl.
I'll tell you what, she not doing that.
I would love to see that, man.
She's not doing that in FIBA. They won't let her do that.
They're not going to let her do that either.
Gino will throw her to the back of the bench so fast.
But it's just
don't
like
let Paige do that. She loves Paige.
Like I said, Anthony, that's why I put it because, and this is what I was trying to with what I was saying when she was in college. Like, for these casual fans that just thought that she was just gonna walk into the W and just be the best player in the league, like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's why I asked you that question. She legitimately, and I'm not hated, she's not better than anyone on that team. Not one person. Every single girl on Team USA is better than her. Every single one of them. Even
would you say she's on pace to be better than some of those people?
Yes. But
based off of her trajectory right now.
That's why I said in 4 years she'll be on the team and she'll be fine. Now it's going to be interesting, but I would assume that at some point Diana Taurasi is going to stop this Tom Brady thing and just go home. Just go home. Like,
eventually,
you have a child. Go home.
Don't say that, Mike.
Well, we're saying this is Tom Brady. Tom Brady too. Like, we're not making this like a woman.
The
career's over.
Home, bro. Like, you got 7 rings. Go home.
Tom Brady, you've been doing this forever. Go be a dad. Like, it's done.
But the thing is, when you're winning Super Bowls at fucking 38, 39, 40. No, not even that. When you're winning Super Bowls past the age of 40, can you blame Brady? Like, that shit is intoxicating.
And listen, Diana Taurasi is still, I believe, top 5 in the league in scoring. I get it.
Yeah.
You can get buckets on anybody. I get it. Go home, DT. Go home.
LeBron ain't going home either. LeBron wants 3 more years.
Ron is getting to that point. Go home. Go home.
What's the point? You're a 40-year-old grandpa dropping 26 a game.
Go home.
What else do you have to prove?
There's nothing else.
Because again, a lot of these players, they retire when they just not able to perform the way they can anymore when Father Time kicks in.
They're so great in modern medicine. Like,
Vince Carter played forever.
He played forever.
Like,
Drew Brees said he was going to play for another 5. Drew Brees said he was going to play for another 5 years. The problem was something happened with his right. Something happened with his right. Yeah, his right arm literally. He said he couldn't throw anymore with his right arm. He couldn't move his right arm anymore, so he had to stop.
He should have went home before that, so that doesn't happen.
Went home before that.
Yeah, he kind of should have went home before that.
If he didn't blow his arm out, he'd be playing right now.
Yeah, he'd be trying.
Like,
but I don't think his last season or 2 were that good. To be honest,
no, they were terrible. He was terrible.
Yeah, they weren't. He was bad.
Only reason Brady left, like, Brady could have still played. The only reason Brady left because he was like, I'm starting to lose it. I'm starting to lose it a little bit.
Yeah,
it's getting
mentally.
Hard. It's getting harder. So
he's becoming.
And then the off the field stuff.
But to my point, Anthony, like, I would think 4 years from now, Diana Taurasi will finally not.
Yeah, I think so too.
How old is she right now?
DT's got to be.
Is she 40?
She's got to be 40, right?
No, there's no way.
Or there.
No way she's 40 yet.
She gotta be like 37, right?
Yeah,
No, she has to be up there.
She's 41.
No, she's 41.
40.
No, she's gonna be 42 tomorrow. She's gonna be 42 tomorrow.
42 tomorrow. Yo.
Yeah.
Go home.
Go home, BT. Go home. Be a mother to your beautiful child. Go home. Like, it's over.
Mike, I have a theory. Not about Diana, about Gino and Team USA. Because we all know Team USA is the UConn Invitational.
It is.
Do you see a world where Paige Beckers gets invited before Caitlin Clark?
If there's an injury or someone pulls out, I absolutely believe Paige is the ultimate.
No, I'm talking about in 4 years.
No, I think Paige will be on the team because Paige is that good.
But do you think if there's one roster spot and they haven't picked one yet because Paige isn't on there yet, and you still have Sabrina and all these Gino?
Paige goes.
Paige goes over Caitlin Clark.
Paige goes.
The reason why I present that, Anthony, is because this has happened.
Yes,
it's happened with Candace Parker.
I was just about to say, Anthony, you don't know the Candace Parker Gino beef. Like that, like if we ever got Candace Parker on this show,
I would love that.
UConn hasn't won since he picked rookie Brianna Stewart to be on Team USA over MVP WNBA champion Candace Parker. Like fresh off winning an MVP, leading the NBA in WNBA in scoring and all that shit.
He picked
Brianna Stewart as a rookie over Candace Parker. And since then, it's the curse of Candace Parker.
And it's been beef ever since because all the other girls that didn't go to UConn also is like, yo, what? What? It's gonna be so funny when Dawn Staley becomes Team USA coach.
Unless Gino comes in outwardly. Once Gino officially apologizes to Candace Parker at like a public forum, then UConn women's basketball will start winning again.
They will win a championship.
That's a real thing. That's real beef. Just like Deanna Taurasi and Skylar Diggins, real beef.
That's real beef too.
That's real beef too.
They don't like each other. Candace Parker does not like that man at all.
Even though he's like the greatest like of all time.
For now.
Somebody better than him?
Give Dawn a few more years.
How many fucking national championships did Gino Auriemma have?
Give Dawn a few more years.
He has more national championships than my kids' ages combined, I believe. So, like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Give Dawn some time. Give her some time.
She's not better than Pat Summitt. Like,
give Dawn some time.
Let
it out. Listen, Dylan.
Let him.
I love Dawn Staley. I think she's phenomenal. But you can't do that. Not when you're comparing her to these two gods of the sport. Right? That's not fair to her. How many national championships does she have? What, 3, 4?
Gino has 11. He has 11.
Gino has more national championships than my son has years alive. I think Gino had 11 national championships before I was 11. I might be close. Because what? The last national championship Gino won was what, 2013?
I believe so. Did you know Dawn Staley's been coaching for 20 years?
Yes, I did.
I did not know that. 23 years coaching.
Oh, 2016 was the last one. Never mind. I was well over the age of 11.
She has She's been coaching at South Carolina for 15 years already.
And she's coached the greatest on pace to be the greatest women's basketball player of all time.
I know. Asia's different. But she's in her prime right now. This would be her prime.
Yeah.
This would be her prime. So
Dawn will get a few more. She'll get a few more. She's gonna get called to the W at some point. When the W gets like real popular, she'll get the call.
They need money.
Mm-hmm.
They need money.
Once if the WNBA starts being real profitable, you'll see some of these like real good fucking coaches move from NCAA to the W. It'll be real big time. It'll be like when fucking college coach like Dan Hurley.
Do we think he's taking that job on Monday?
I think the Lakers need him to.
First of all, what the hell happened to Redick?
I think Redick is still very much so in the running, but
I think he's definitely the alternate.
He's the alternate, but shout out to Pelinka for going and kicking the tires on a guy that nobody thought was available.
Yeah.
Like, he's the only one who contacted him.
I mean,
like,
to
that's
be fair,
big brain.
To be fair, I don't think he was checking. I don't think the Detroit Pistons had a chance.
No, they don't. They don't. But like,
so,
you gotta kick the tires.
Like him, the Lakers are one of those franchises that he can go kick the tires. Like the Pistons,
I know, but like you still got
Utah. Like
you have to turn over every stone, right?
If that's wasting your time. Like,
is it making a phone call like, "Hey, Dan"?
He's not.
What's the likelihood of you leaving UConn? All right, see ya.
Hang up.
Because what if he's just like, we'll talk. Because what if he's just using you for leverage at UConn? What if that's what he's doing right now, and he's actually not considering taking the job? Because the only way he doesn't take that job is if UConn gives him a better offer,
gives him more money.
Yeah, that's what, if UConn gives him more money.
It's not believable. Like, he's not leaving UConn to go to the Utah Jazz. It's not believable.
No, but
the Lakers are
to go to the Phoenix Suns.
Maybe
the tires gonna be kicked.
But Phoenix also has a dumb owner, as we already know.
Exactly, but that's
an idiot for an owner. So
you have to. But it's one of those things where it's like, has anybody tried? Has anybody picked up the phone? Even if you tell, what's the worst he can tell you? No. Like, we know everybody else is available. You need to look for the people who we don't know are available. So, like, kudos to Pelinka for.
He also pulled JJ Redick out of nowhere.
Again, JJ's gonna be a good coach. I don't know if it'll be a good idea for the Lakers to be his first coaching job.
I think JJ is gonna be a good GM. I don't think he's gonna be a good coach.
I think it'll be both. Because JJ's smart as fuck, man.
He is.
He's smart as fuck.
But he just gives me GM vibes.
He could do Steve Kerr did it in reverse. I was gonna say Steve Kerr was a good GM.
No, he was not. No, he was not.
He wasn't?
No. Phoenix was going to conference finals, and there were perennial title contenders. He got there and was like, yeah, I don't want us to do the 8 seconds or less. I want us to play half-court ball. And Phoenix stunk after that.
Do you know when he was the GM of the fucking Suns?
Go look it up. Go look it up. He stunk. Because I couldn't believe how he went from that to getting the Golden State job, because I was like, he was terrible as the GM. President of Basketball Operations, or whatever his title was with Phoenix. Like, no. And then his privilege got him a job at Golden State. And, oh, would you look at here? I've got 3 Hall of Famers sitting here. 3 Hall of Famers. I think I can do something with that. And now Steve Kerr is considered one of the greatest coaches ever, which
So Steve Kerr was with the Suns from 2007 to 2010. 55-27, 46-36, 54-28.
What are these draft picks?
Oh, let's see what their draft picks were.
Because Steve Kerr stinks. That's my point here. That is the point. Steve Kerr stinks.
He was a year before Rondo. That would have been a cool one. But he drafted Rondo. He drafted of decent players, Rudy Fernandez and Robin Lopez. But to be fair, those Suns teams were fucking good, so he was always picking last.
Before he got there.
When did Sean Marion come back? And when did Jay Rich get there? Because he came back too, I believe. This is exhilarating.
Way to end the night. Looking up Steve Kerr's overrated career.
Because he was a decent GM, from what I remember. He got him Jay Rich. He got him Jason Richardson back. So, Hey, man. Don't hate on him. But no, JJ will be good. Part of me thinks Dan Hurley's just using this as leverage. I don't think Dan Hurley actually wants to coach the NBA yet. Because I don't think his coaching style is going to work in the NBA. Because he has his whole group of kids running stadium stairs. And I don't think you're going to get a bunch of millionaires to do that.
No.
And they play with so much energy. Like that UConn team, you try to make the Lakers play that way, half that team will quit. Anthony Davis's fucking knee will explode. But he is a phenomenal coach, and he might be like the second best coach LeBron has ever had, or the third best coach LeBron has ever had in his career.
That might be true though.
Because it's Spoelstra and Ty Lue. After that, all these guys are bums.
You hate Mike Brown.
Mike Brown was not a good coach with them. Mike Brown got fired the following year after LeBron James because they were bad.
You hate Mike Brown.
Mike Brown, outside of this Kings tenure, has never been a good coach.
He was a good coach on Golden State too.
The few games he took over when Steve Kerr went out, where I could have coached that team, where Andre Iguodala grabbed the clipboard and was coaching that team. Anybody could have coached that team.
You hate Mike Brown. You just hate him.
Imagine saying, oh, yeah, he was a bad coach everywhere, but like he coached Golden State for like 5 games when they were in that 2016 stretch where nobody was beating them and said he did a good job. Come on, Mike.
Did a great job. You hate that man.
That's disingenuous.
You hate that
so
man.
Like, Anthony, am I wrong for saying that?
Tell the truth, Anthony. He hates that man. He hates that. I don't know what the beef is between Dylan and Mike Brown. They hate that man for some reason.
Remember when Mike Brown coached that Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, like Dwight Howard team?
And they fired him after like 9 games. Like
because they were fucking terrible.
9 games.
They were terrible. Terrible. Giving Mike Brown credit for that Warriors team coaching is like me cooking a full course meal and then say, hey, Anthony made it. Giving Anthony credit.
I'll take the credit. I will definitely take the credit.
And so will Mike Brown. That's how Luke Walton got the Laker job. Remember? Luke Walton had a
couple
games.
God, I forgot he was the Lakers coach.
Well. with the Warriors when Steve Kerr was out.
Lakers had so many bad
Lakers, he was fucking terrible.
I'm be perfectly honest with you, stunned Rob Pelinka still has a job because I would have been fired him. But
the only reason Rob Pelinka still has a job is because Magic Johnson quit before they could really have beef, and he's Magic Johnson's friend. And Magic's dicking down Genie. So
wow.
So that's why that's still a thing.
Wow.
Out of left field, Anthony.
Oh.
I'm not wrong.
Whoa.
Magic holds a lot of favor.
You gotta do a Don DeMarco for that one.
Definitely didn't hear it here first because that rumor's been going around forever. But that's why he still got a job. Because no GM gets fucking 5 coaches.
That's the way I would have been fired him. Would have been fired
after the second one.
And the terrible roster moves and the thing. I
would have fired him after trading for Russell Westbrook.
That should have been his death nail. That should have been his death nail, but whatever.
I would love for Dan Hurley to take the job. If Dan Hurley takes the job, they're drafting Bronny with the 17th pick because the Pelicans gave them their pick back and said, we'll push it back a year.
They're not drafting Bronny with 17. I think they're drafting Bronny either way, but I don't think they're drafting him 17.
Because this draft is just like not that good. So like I can see it wild. Like, reach and take him. So because I'm telling you right now, Dallas is drafting Bronny if he's there. I promise you, Dallas is drafting Bronny if he's there.
Mark Cuban does not run that team anymore.
Mark Cuban still has influence on that team.
Because that's a Mark Cuban move, but
Mark Cuban still has a say in basketball operations. He has a voice in that building.
Bronny's not going to the second round.
Bronny will be a Dallas Maverick if he's not a Laker, because they're going to try to get LeBron James.
Boom. There's your speaky prediction.
With all my other long-winded ones.
Well, Anthony already said lock it in. Anthony's got Dallas for game 3. I've got Dallas for game 3. Dylan, who you have for game 3?
I also have Dallas for game 3 because this series is ending in Boston.
So game 5 in Boston or game 7 in Boston?
Game 5. After watching the way Dallas has played these first 2 games, I picked Boston in 6. I just don't think that's possible. I just don't think that's possible because they're just going to get to game 5 and they're going to win it. They need to be perfect. Mike said it best. They need to be perfect. I don't think you get back-to-back perfect games.
Or 4 of them.
Because I said 6, so I don't need 4 of them. I just need 2 back-to-back perfect games to get to 6. I know you do, but we care about me being right here. We got a preseason prediction on the line here, where we'll have back-to-back years of having somebody pick the NBA champion.
Well, I mean, listen. The problem you might be running into is having Tatum be the Finals MVP. That might be the biggest problem you might have.
I said initially that was going to be Jaylen Brown. The only reason I went back to Jason Tatum was because I said it earlier. But when you have a game like tonight where everybody, like 3 guys, like really did well, and again, to the point where Tatum's not doing a lot off, like scoring wise, but he is a main catalyst for everybody else being involved. Drew Holiday doesn't have 26 if he's there. Drew Holiday that's true. Because he scored 26, just threw himself into the Finals MVP race.
I was just about to say that. No, and also his defense on Kyrie too. You can make an argument for Drew Holiday right now.
They've been swapping. Him and Derek White took a lot of turns today of just making sure he was miserable. So it's like in the game, night 2 of the way too early Finals MVP predictions is like, oh, we have a new wrench. A new player has entered
the game.
It is now Drew Holiday, but it's also like Drew Holiday actually has zero chance in my mind of getting it.
I mean, if
he plays like he did today,
this happens.
Remember, Andre Iguodala won Finals MVP. Anything can happen.
He shouldn't have.
But if Drew does this 2 more times, he'll be Finals MVP.
Yeah, but that's the hard point. It's the same point I made about Drew Holiday when he was on the Bucks, where it's like, this is way more than I expect out of Drew Holiday. Way more than I expect. I expect 15 to 18.
26 points is wild.
It's wild. I expect 15 to 18. He got.
But we said this before though.
It's like, oh shit.
The Celtics have like 6-7 players who can give you like 20.
Yeah, but like it's not he's the 5th guy, and then starting 5 where it's like, oh yeah, cool. He gave me 20. Shit. All right, we're definitely winning. It's like Austin Reeves when Austin Reeves scores like 25. It's like, oh yeah, we won, but like, oh shit, Austin Reeves. Okay, I see you. Like, I don't expect Drew Holiday to give me more than 15. So anything after that just is house money. It's the silly things where it's like, oh, Jaylen Brown could get away with having a 15-point game if Derek White scores 26.
How much did Derek White have tonight?
18.
Good job, Dylan. Goodness.
I already got it up.
Derek.
I have it up also. My goodness.
Yeah, he had 18. The best 3-point shooter on the floor tonight was Derek White. Derek White and Luka. Luka 4 for 9. Derek White 4 for 10. So
Dallas gonna have to come out better. The role players are gonna have to play better too as well.
Role players normally play better at home, but the role players right now are giving you everything you need. That's one of those things. Like I don't think the expectation for PJ Washington should be more than what he's doing. I think he's doing exactly what he was. Because remember, PJ Washington was just in Charlotte. Like playing just super loser basketball. The fact that PJ Washington's even giving us a consistent 17, 18, 19 is crazy. For me, I think he's doing exactly what he needs to do. Derek Jones, if you could get 3 more points out of him, that'd be cool. But he's doing exactly what you need to do. Daniel Gafford.
The person who's not is Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
If Kyrie does what he's supposed to do, everybody else is actually doing what they're supposed to do.
I forgot what series it was where we were talking about the superstars did everything. It was game 1 it was the Minnesota series where Anthony was blaming Mike Conley. He said Mike Conley needs to play better. And I'm just like, the role players did everything needed to do. You can't have your stars score less than 20. Because I think that was the first game of where Anthony.
I think it was game 1. It was game 1 or 2.
Game 1 or game 2. One of those where Anthony Edwards had 18. But everybody else gave you exactly what they needed to do. All the role players did it. It's just you had 2 stars not score at least 20 points. You got Luka doing what he had to do. Kyrie didn't, but your role players did their job. Asking them to be better than they already are is...
You need at least 25 from Kyrie.
Kyrie has to give you 25 if this needs to be a series. If this is the only way this is going to be a series, if Kyrie can score 25. If Kyrie can't hit that mark, this series is fucking done. And then you have to... I hate saying this after one season because it sounds like it's an overreaction, but it's like a reality. But it's like, if Kyrie can't produce in the playoff in the finals, do you really consider the roster as a whole all over again besides Luka?
Yeah,
you have to, right?
I would think so, but because
you're getting into that territory where Luka's about to be a free agent.
I mean, he's signing that kind. He's re-signing with Dallas.
he's Supermax eligible. Oh
yeah,
man,
he ain't leaving 346 on the table.
No, but
Yeah,
he could do that thing where it's like, I'll sign this extension, but then like next year I'm asked for a trade.
it's full of James Harden, basically.
And Anthony Davis. Kevin Durant.
But
Name
if I
who wants to get traded.
but if I'm Dallas and I don't, obviously assuming they lose this series, what's the biggest need in the offseason?
I don't think there is one for this Dallas team.
Their biggest need would be trying to find somebody who could be a better number two, right?
Number 2,
which I like. I feel
which is
like
hard.
I would run it back because
I would bring this whole team back, but then it's like
expect them to grow. Like you have to develop them.
I don't think
PJ Washington better. You have to get that kid Hardy better. You have to get Lively better. Like they just
Derrick Jones Jr. Yeah,
they just have to get better. They
I
don't
think they're all.
particularly
This is a great team.
Exactly.
They're just young, but then it's just like if the reason you lose is because Kyrie Irving can't get you 25 points. Then it's just like, okay, what are the conversations?
But we also have to acknowledge the Celtics defense, though. Like we also have to acknowledge that too.
Yeah, but we can acknowledge the Celtics defense, but we could also take a look back at the last 4 playoff series Kyrie Irving has played in.
So do you think it's to a point where Kyrie can't get any better? He's capped out?
I mean, when you're talking about the most skilled basketball player of all time, it's very hard to get better, right?
He played well in the Minnesota series.
Because there was nobody guarding him. Right.
Well, the list of people who can guard Kyrie Irving is not a long list.
Well, they weren't doing a good job of guarding him because he was just taking everything.
That kid,
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
but they had to keep swapping out.
He's an all NBA defender, though.
He just couldn't stay in front of Kyrie. That's the problem.
Kyrie was cooking him.
Yeah, he couldn't stay in front of him. Boston has guys who could stay in front of him.
Yeah, that's the big difference.
That's the difference. So it's like, but again, you take a look at a bunch of the playoff series in the past as a whole. This is not me shitting on Kyrie Irving because I think Kyrie Irving is incredible, but it's just like, what stops this Dallas team from winning? And we all said going into the series that Kyrie Irving was the X factor of the series. If the Dallas Mavericks win and anybody else besides Luka were to win Finals MVP, it would be Kyrie Irving.
It was Luka or Kyrie.
That's going down the drain for me.
They were the only two that were going to win it for Dallas.
They were the only two that was going to win it. But then if you lose, and we see what's happening in these first 2 games, and we see when this series is over, if Dallas loses and why they lose, and the answer is number 11. Yeah, you have to look. You have to be like, we have to at least consider seeing what options we have, or do we just run it back as it is? And hope that PJ Washington can grow to be a 26-point game scorer.
I wouldn't say just PJ, but even some of the other guys, the younger dudes too,
Yeah, but again, the role player, I think they just need to get older. That's kind of that for me. They just need to get older, get more experience. It's a lot like that Thunder team that went to the finals in 2012, where the rest of those guys just needed experience. You can
say the same thing about this Thunder team.
They just need more experience. The only person on that 2012 team that really had experience, because Eric Maynor was injured, so it was Kendrick Perkins.
And that's probably not who you want to be your...
Yeah, because he tried to be in OKC, and it didn't work.
He tries to beef with everybody.
So, I agree with Mike. I wouldn't move any of these. I'd keep the same roster. It's just you have
what
to...
do you do with even Tim Hardaway?
I mean,
when's he a free agent? Because he makes a lot of money.
Yeah, he does make money.
There's your trade piece.
That's
Morris Quinn. Him and Morris.
Oh yeah, the Morris. Yeah, I can see those guys being expendable.
But then it's like Dante Exum. You can probably see you fucking later.
He hasn't played bad in the playoffs.
He hasn't played better, but he's like, you can upgrade that. Maxi Kleber, he's been hurt. He's still not really there yet. You could probably upgrade there too.
I don't know. They like him when he's healthy.
But again, if you're trying to get better, then it's like, okay, what? Those are like the little that's nitpicking at this point. But the real question is that number 2, that Robin.
Yeah.
It's who can you get that could potentially be better, or do you just want to run it back, upgrade a couple pieces, and keep pushing?
Well, whatever's going to happen, we will be here to document it. We will be back Wednesday late because it'll be during the week. So, of course, the game has to start at 8:30, 8:40. So, we'll be back here late night Wednesday, recap game 3. Hopefully, we have Blackheart on the air for that one, pending Celtics win.
Win or lose, let's get Blackheart out here.
But we will be on there Wednesday. Maybe we'll have Breezy. I don't know. His schedule's funny. Word is he's still sleeping. So
he be losing every night. Every night.
So,
while we're still on air, Anthony, I would like to apologize to you. I was a little too much.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I was a little too much. If I could do it on air, I could do the apology on air too. So, there we go.
Apology accepted. And I apologize for being a jackass to Jason Tatum. He's underperformed. I still think he underperformed, but he's not completely. I think I'm overreacting a little bit, just by a little.
Putrid was a strong word.
Putrid is a strong word.
Putrid is a strong.
I would have used putrid if he would have had like 4 assists and like a billion turnovers. Because I criticized Jason Tatum for his turnovers. If you saw night 1, I was like, hey, he didn't play horrible, but like you can't have 8 turnovers because I do that to Caitlin Clark. I do it to everybody.
12 assists is crazy.
But yeah,
the thing is, but you gotta look.
Triple double is wild.
But look at it try to look at it from an owner standpoint. He's due for a $335 million contract,
which he's gonna get.
He'll get it.
Which he's gonna get it.
Anybody would give it to him, though. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Any team,
but it's just like
if they could, they would.
No, I know. It's just like, okay, if I'm gonna give that type of money to a player, I don't. And then I'm looking at the other athletes who are in line for that kind of money or getting similar kind of money like that. And like, can you just shoot a little better, brother? Like, you're doing other things good. You're doing other things good, but can you shoot a little better, bro? Like, come on.
It's hard to like super criticize a player who's, if not a top 10 player, the 11th best player in basketball. That's where it's hard. Like, that's the top 1% of 1%. So it's like, yeah, he's shooting like shit. Not a great year shooting, but like he's matured in his game. And that's like one of the points Mike and I have talked where it's like, and I've said it multiple times. 2 years ago in that Warriors final, Jason Tatum would have been pulling no matter what. I don't care that we're down 15. I'm shooting 40 shots. I'm gonna have 15 turnovers. Because that's where he broke LeBron's turnover record that year.
Mm-hmm.
In the playoffs. And if you remember me then, I was shitting on him.
LeBron. That's hilarious.
I was shitting on him for that. It's just he's gotten so much better. It's just
I want to know where Blackheart thinks. Hopefully he's here on Wednesday.
I could probably tell you exactly what Blackheart's going to tell you. Yo, he needs to shoot better. Or he's going to say, don't talk about my Celtics, Anthony. That's probably more accurate. He's going to say, don't talk about my fucking Celtics.
Oh, man.
It's probably exactly what he's going to say. But stay tuned. We'll stay tuned to the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. We will find out on Wednesday. For Anthony, Podcast Poppy, I'm Big Mike. You guys have a great night.
Okay.